Hello everybody, back again with another breakdown of another great place that I've visited in Thailand. I'm currently in Krabi. Today's my 4th day. I spent 2 days in Krabi town and now I am spending 2 days, or I've spent 2 days in Anyang. I think that's how you pronounce it. My pronunciation is getting bad. I'm at the beach side. The beach is approximately 200 to 300 meters away from my hotel. I'm staying at the Blue Sotel Smart Hotel in Krabi, and great hotel. It is a resort, it has a swimming pool, there's a great view of the beach up the top. And tomorrow I'll be on my way to somewhere else. So in Krabi town I spent 2 days exploring the whole place and I had a great time. Mind you, it did rain a bit, but that didn't necessarily interfere in my plans. I stayed right next to the night market there, and I was at the night market every day, eating, watching the on-stage performances. A lot of young people singing in English, in Thai. It was pretty entertaining actually. And in addition to that, a lot of great food, pad Thai, a lot of Islamic dishes, a lot of Thai dishes, Malay dishes, Japanese cuisine. It was great. I had an absolute ball eating the past 2 days. I probably put on all the weight that I lost so far on my trip, but it was well worth it. I also did a tour through the channels, the river channels that run through Krabi town. I went and saw a particular cave, which I'll put the descriptions down below. I went out there in a longtail boat, and in the cave there was a 6-meter skeleton, which was actually an art installation of a Taiwanese artist. That was quite interesting. And the cave was actually quite big. The rumor is that there used to be prehistoric settlements in that cave, obviously once upon a time, and you can actually see how these people would use particular areas of the cave and carve out certain sections to make that their home. It was pretty interesting. And this longtail tour boat that I did take the tour on went for an hour. It also took me through the fish farms in the river. It took me through the mangroves. That was great. It was good to see the mangroves up nice and close, and to a little island, an artificial island I should say, that exists in the middle of the river, probably just near the heads where it opens up to the sea. And there was a whole heap of restaurants there, cafes, and a community of people living on this man-made island on stumps. And stopped there, had some lunch, and then caught the tailboat back to land. After Krabi town, I caught a taxi to Ao Nang, where I am now. The taxi was quite cheap. It cost me about $9 Australian. And on the first day I went to Railay Beach. Railay Beach was amazing. The longtail boat that took us there was quite comfortable on the way up. But on the way back, it did become a bit choppy when the rain came in, but nevertheless I had a great time there. Once again we had a nice lunch there on the water, facing the water. That was quite enjoyable. And after approximately 2 hours I head back to the mainland. The longtail boat ride back was quite choppy. It was raining. The waves were probably well over 1 meter, but I must take my hat off, literally, to the driver who steered us back safely onto the mainland. I've spent the times walking up and down the main strip here, looking at all the different stores, spent some time in the beach, walking along the sand. A great comfortable place, very relaxing, You can probably hear the birds chirping in the background. Probably more of a honeymoon type of vacation or holiday. But in saying that, you will still have a great time, and my recommendation is, if you do come here as a solo traveller, 2 days is just about right in Ao Nang. You might want to do what I did and extend it out to 4 days and spend 2 days in Krabi Town. Once again, sweating here. It's very hot. It does pour down, and then once the rain stops, it becomes overly humid, and I can just feel the sweat on my face just dripping off my face once again. The prices in Krabi are quite reasonable. Krabi Town is a little bit cheaper than here. Obviously, this is the resort town, and prices are a little bit more expensive. Nothing that will break the budget though, so just something to keep in mind. And if you do want to go out into the islands and see other particular islands that are very visible just off the mainland here, there is tourist booths everywhere. So shop around, get the best deal, ask about what type of transportation will take you to the islands or to certain excursions around the Krabi region. Very important. And don't be afraid to bargain with them as well. In my time walking around today, I was querying the prices of certain trips, and I was getting different prices for the same product from different vendors. So if you want to take some time out of your busy schedule, I highly recommend Krabi. Very relaxing. People are most accommodating, and it's one of those places where you would definitely come back to. On that note, I am off to have my dinner. It is just after 6 o'clock here. The sun is going down, and I'll pan around and show you that shortly. And the nightlife will commence in Krabi. There's a whole heap of bars that line up all against or facing the sea. Many happy hours. Everyone tries to pull you in to have a drink or to eat something. So once again, you've got a lot of options. Don't go into the first place that asks you to come in and have a drink or to eat something. Be sure to walk up the road, have a look, walk down the other beachside facing road as well, and see what your options are, because you won't be disappointed. There is heaps of options out there. Once again, thank you. Please like and share and comment on my videos. It will be highly appreciated. I'm trying to put out at least 2 videos per town or city that I travel to. Thank you all for your support so far, and once again, adios.